Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
It's the holiday season, everybody. December 15th. While there's a lot of good things with the holidays, we know there's a lot of bad stuff going on around the country, but there are good things with the holidays. But this date is a tragic one. 3 years ago, The Last Jedi came out on this date, so we have to recognize the travesty of that.
Should we do a moment of
disaster.
silence?
No, I'm going to give a moment of me bitching about it.
Dave cannot remain silent about this.
Don't throw the lightsaber over your shoulder. It's awful. And thank you, Barry, for coming along. It took 2 years, but you came
I think
through.
it came around faster than that, but yeah, I did come around.
Yeah. It's funny because now, they're showing all these movies. I've had to tell my wife, and she's lucky she still is my wife because she listened, we don't watch that movie. I don't care. You don't put it on. Even if it comes after The Force Awakens, you change the channel. You put something else on. We don't watch that in this house. So
I'm not quite as stringent as that, but yeah, it's not a good movie. But it's not like my eyes can't ever glance upon it.
Oh, I can't. I can't. I can't see it anymore.
If you turn the sound off, we've said this many times, turn the sound off. It's a pretty movie to look at.
Whatever. As a guy who thought he'd be a director of photography, that means nothing if the story sucks. And I never thought I'd say that. But anyway, let's go on to better times. Lots of Disney announcements, and we're going to talk about all of them. Yes, Jim Bush. Hopefully it won't be the 2 hours you think it's going to be. But we're going to go through that stuff. And some other things. But, honestly, it is the holiday season. There are people out there less fortunate. If you can do something about it, do something.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. Because those of us with our health and jobs are very fortunate. Let's go random on that dichotomy of funny and warm notes. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. Now that we're in the right month, The Expanse starts tomorrow. And they are dropping the first 3 episodes, which I guess is a thing now. And then
that is a thing.
Then
now.
doing one a week.
Yep.
They've also announced that next season, which will be the 6th season, will be the final season. And there's already people saying, "Oh, you got to." I'm actually good with that. There's a significant change at the end of the book that they will wrap up at the end of next season. It kind of changes era and just significantly moves the story in another direction. And I think it's a perfect place to wrap it up if we get, another 2 really good seasons out of it. 6 seasons of something that I thought we were going to lose after 3. I'm super happy with. This is one of my favorite written properties that they've translated wonderfully, made a slightly different thing, but still kept the spirit of it. And I'm really, really pleased with that. So anyways, that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. So
we saw that? Or
what's that?
No, I don't think it has been a year.
When was the last season out?
Last year was season 4, the first one on Amazon, and this is 5.
Was it December? I can't remember.
It was December.
Oh,
okay. I hope there's a recap because I don't know what was going on.
You know what? I'm thinking I might not have watched it until January or February.
The first one that really wasn't set in space. It was on that colony planet.
Yeah, it was on the colony planet though.
With the when
they went
thing
inside
that blind,
that big
construct thing,
yeah.
It's
okay.
One of the things I always felt really was very realistic about that story is we have all these Star Trek and all these other things where they go to all these planets that are not in any, that are like, class M, and look, it looks just like Earth. Everything. They went to this planet where the soil was toxic. I mean, everything was against them there. The weather was trying to kill them, and it just seemed like that's probably what would happen, if you found another planet. So
Stargate wasn't like that. Everything was the forest and raining, just like Vancouver. But they just happened to be on planets like that. It
always looked like Vancouver, and everyone spoke English.
I thought that Raised by Wolves did that well too, Todd. Like they were definitely in an inhospitable planet.
And I agree entirely. And that was, and the fact that, like I said, you couldn't eat things that you grew there and all that kind of stuff was, yeah, I agree.
I remember an episode of Stargate, Jack breaks out his compass in his watch and uses that.
Yeah, which one you're like?
Because everyone's got the magnetic north.
Because every planet has the same magnetic properties, yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Exactly.
I will say that is a show that you don't want to think too much about at certain things. So,
No, but worth watching.
yeah.
Barry, what do you got?
I got a couple quick ones, but I'll do one and then we can come around again. Jamie Alexander returning as Lady Sif in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Whoa.
Oh, I
Marvel
did not
News.
know that.
Marvel News. What?
It's not. It's not announcing a series. We know about this movie.
I got like 70 things that are off limits because they're Marvel News.
It's casting news. It's not the
That
same.
didn't come out with the announcements,
No,
though, right?
it did not.
Okay.
So there you go. Oh, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
glad for her.
Yes,
and
it
I'm
is.
glad for us. Cool. I have some. Lots of Marvel news and Disney news and Star Wars news, but Brian K. Vaughan with Legendary Entertainment, I guess, is developing a Buck Rogers TV series reboot,
Yep.
which is interesting.
Sure.
That with sort of today's, ability to do television in a much less cheesy way could be interesting.
I
Talk about the
find
same
myself
plastic sets.
many Saturday evenings at 11 o'clock watching Buck Rogers on MeTV.
Me too.
And
It's always like the same 8 episodes, though. They
feels
never,
like they only
never
made
did
it
This
it.
is
eight
also going to
episodes,
be.
but-
This is
No,
this
there's
is-
multiple seasons.
No, I know there are, but I'm with you. It feels like the same episodes are on all the time.
I was going past it this weekend, this Saturday, and it's like the return of the fighting 69th. Like, that's like episode 8 of season 1.
Yeah.
We haven't even seen Hawkman.
I've seen Hawkman episodes. In my head, always remembered Wilma and Buck being more of a couple, and they weren't.
No.
No.
They weren't at all. But in my mind, I
envisioned
remembered
yourself as Buck. I envisioned Wilma and me as a couple.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
I
how
was
I
too
remember
young.
it.
I knew I liked Wilma, but I don't think I understood why. I was much younger than you. Well, a couple years younger than you.
Oh, much.
So,
Not much. Couple.
yep.
Were you breathing?
I was
You-
alive.
that
I
was-
I said, I knew I liked her. Hadn't
In
put
any
pieces
case,
together yet.
Brian K. Vaughan's series is probably going to be a lot more, the original concept, and then what we saw, which is
Of
really
him
kind of Buck Rogers.
caught in a coal mine or something.
Yeah,
Probably
very much
no
a-
Tweaky then. Yeah.
I would guarantee
Probably
you
no
that
Twiggy.
there's
Felix
Twiggy.
Silla was like, "Ooh, I'm waiting for a call from my agent on my giant phone."
cell phone.
it's not going to happen. Yeah. But anyways, I Brian K. Vaughan's written a lot of really good stuff, and I'm
He has.
looking forward to see what he does. So,
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Todd, did you have anything else?
I had one more, and let's see if I can bring it up. In an interview about something else entirely, Emily Blunt said she's seen the script for the Edge of Tomorrow sequel, and she likes it, and she's excited about it. The working title is Live, Die, and Repeat, which the first movie should have been called. And they said they're going to do it after the next 2 Mission Impossible films.
I was going to say he's doing 2. They're filming those now. Though.
Yeah,
Right,
back
yeah,
to
but they're being filmed together. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I hope
but
he has some
that's
running
the
left
plan.
in him when he's done
And
doing those.
they're working on scheduling, but they said that Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise apparently collaborated on the script, Doug Liman, and everybody's happy with it. And it's
all those people.
yeah, it's I'm yeah
They're the same guy who directs.
yes yeah. So
Yep.
They should just brought her in and shot that while they're shooting.
I
the
know,
other two.
right?
he just goes stand over here, put on this mech suit. Anyways, I love that film. It's one of those things that
No, that's great.
it's
It's like the Groundhog Day of sci-fi movies. You just watch it over
Love
and
that
over
movie.
again.
Love that
crept
movie.
onto my list of things that if I'm channel surfing and I see it, I have to watch at least the one repeat of it, which is kind of neat too, because you can sit there and kind of like watch a cycle and then move on. So yeah,
Cool. Barry, you got more?
I do. So, and again, this is a quick hit, but apparently there's an Alien TV series coming to FX, Ugh. And it's set on Earth.
Yeah, I heard about that. Ridley Scott's involved in it, though, and I never thought that would be a bad thing.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
with
totally,
you on that.
If we go back when we were talking about sequels and stuff we'd make, TV series we'd pitch years ago, that was my pitch. My pitch was aliens actually get to Earth, and they wipe out a moon colony first, and then by the end of the first season, they're making their way to Earth. But I've got that.
Then you saw Prometheus and Covenant, and you're like, let's just let that
let that die.
Maybe we let the whole franchise just rest for a while.
They've got to get there. They got to get to Earth sometime. So
I guess, but that feels like a mini series to me. That doesn't feel like a 5-season series. I don't know.
Have you seen The Walking Dead?
I stopped watching The Walking Dead for a reason.
No, but I'm saying bad shit happening is a theme. So, yeah.
Let's see where that goes. Who was he making it for? Somebody? Did they say it was someone?
I didn't see anything about who might be in it.
Yeah.
No. I meant what it's running on.
FX.
Yeah.
FX. Yeah. I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got money. Anything else? I think I'm done.
Well, I had one other thing about casting, but I'll save it for the Marvel news. I guess.
Okay.
Even though it wasn't announced as part of that announcement.
It is the holiday season. I don't know, as you listen to this, if you can get stuff in time for Christmas, but give them a call, Fanboy Collectibles. Maybe you can.
If anybody can get it to you, Fanboy can.
That's for sure. No pressure, Troy. In stock, no less. Sideshow life-size, I'm saying the words Grogu. In stock. If you need your own Grogu, you got him.
Fanboy is your go-to for Grogu.
There's a lot of Grogu. It's all good.
There's a lot of Grogu. There's also the TV series Pops. Those are in stock. Check those out.
Those are cool.
Speaking of aliens, there's a 1/12 scale Predator coming up. Also, Sideshow 1/6 scale Gambit. And there's also a pretty cool Iron Studios Nightcrawler statue with the sort of Banff thing in the background. So
and there's a 1/4 scale Stan Lee statue from Iron Studios, which looks just like him. It's really good.
It does. So there's plenty in stock stuff. Call them up. Go on the website. Find out what their deal is. Some of us got stuff within 2 days. Some of us are still waiting because they live in the middle of nowhere. Check them out online, fanboycollectibles.com. Tell them Regular Joe's sent you. Okay. Disney, was it last Wednesday or Thursday? At Disney's Investor Day. Investor Party.
It's called Investor Day, I think. Yeah. And it was broadcast on the internet for anybody who wanted to watch it, with the exception of a bunch of things that got blacked out. But I watched a lot of it.
Yes. And there were a ton of announcements. Stuff we knew about, stuff we didn't know about. How do we want to do this exactly?
I think we either need to do Marvel and then Star Wars, or Star Wars and then Marvel. There's just too much
That's
from
fine.
both.
All right. You would have thought we would have planned this out, but why would we?
Why would we do that?
Okay, you want to start with what we actually could see versus what they talked about?
If you could remember that, I don't know if I do.
Well, like the Loki, we saw a Loki teaser, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Which saw a Loki teaser.
Seems very interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not the top of my list, but
no, but still, it's like we actually saw something versus they're talking about it because they've been talking about stuff for a long time. And then WandaVision, there's a longer.
There's a new trailer. Now, we had seen something, and now there's a new trailer for that, like a 2-minute or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer than the original.
So and that comes out.
Pretty clear that they're like
January 15th
in like a reality bubble. The question is where and when. So
I think it's all in her head. I gotta say, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. It seems very weird.
I will say I don't know if you're gonna like it either.
I would agree with that.
but I'm excited about it.
It almost seems like something that Noah Wyle
Marvel
would have done.
I think in a box
this
and you'll
is
like it.
the last moment before he died. I think she basically took the two, just as took that moment in time and froze it, but didn't really know what to do with it. And
Jeez, I hope not. That would be. I mean, we all know he dies, but that would be freaking painfully depressing.
They're going to make a series out of that?
No, but I'm saying this is. It could take them that long to figure out what it is, but I think this is because she was right there with him at that moment, and I think this is her trying to hold on to his essence for however long that takes.
Yeah, but why would you take him through bad sitcoms of the 60s and 70s?
I don't think she
really
put a
get
lot
it.
of advanced planning into it. So think of it like a dream.
I gotta say,
kind of
it
thing.
looks weird. I don't know. Barry, what do you think about it?
I'm a little bit more open to things that don't make as much sense than you are. Todd and I both are kind of in the same place. Like Legion is a great example. If you give into it, you can enjoy it for what it is. And I'm hoping that that's what this is. That's something that I'm hoping worst case that's what it is. And then I'm hoping for the best that maybe it's even better than that. But I like the style of what we've seen so far. I actually like the 70s, 60s, and 70s TV show. I think it's hilarious that most of the footage we've seen is like Dick Van Dyke episode, and they actually got Dick Van Dyke to consult to make sure it was accurate, which I love. So
awesome.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yep.
I think it's an odd choice to lead out of the gate with, and maybe that was just the way it went.
And that's what I said.
I
that's my only concern about this is that they didn't lead out with either
Falcon and Winter Soldier or
Falcon and Winter Soldier or Hawkeye or something like this. That would have been a
Falcon
little
and
more
Winter Soldier,
straightforward.
which is going to say very straightforward, very action, very Marvel. We did see a trailer for that. I think that looks awesome. I think it's like the action adventure buddy cop thing all rolled up into one. Yep. I think you're going to have comedy. You're going to have humor. You're going to have action. I think that's like straight down the middle of
WandaVision
Marvel.
feels like the third or fourth series once they've established themselves. But
right,
it's
what I'm
done,
saying.
and they need to get something on the air. So
it's probably
it's
easier to
little
produce because
niche-y
maybe it's
to
all
lead with.
freaking green screen.
Yep.
Well, we'll know soon enough. It debuts in a month, so
yeah. So we saw WandaVision, we saw Loki, we saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we didn't see anything else. So what they announced stuff that was there's old stuff, right? The Eternals movie.
There's a little bit of
Shang-Chi,
old stuff, and
Doctor Strange.
The movies that we knew about, obviously Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man 3. We knew those were in development. The rest of the ones they announced,
Thor.
We knew Thor was in development. And we assumed that there would be a Captain Marvel 2 and a Black Panther 2, but some of the other stuff, we had been leaked. Oh, we also knew about Doctor Strange, right? That movie was announced a long time ago. Fantastic Four, I think, that had been leaked.
That's
prior.
a shocker. I thought they'd let that lie. Maybe it'll be done right this time.
Again, they're bringing it into the Marvel universe. They've got a chance to do something different here, and
It's also
maybe
not
fourth
like coming
time's
out
the
tomorrow.
charm. Who knows?
I just hope they cast Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Well, the guy who did Spider-Man is doing it, right?
Oh, is that right? I'm not sure of that.
That is. I think it's him. Webb. Somebody Webb. Yeah, they did announce that. I'm looking that up if you guys want to jump into something else.
Yeah, so the casting news I was going to mention, which I just read today, wasn't part of this announcement, but apparently Willem Dafoe and Thomas Hayden Church are also coming back for Spider-Man 3.
Ugh. Why would you bring anything back from Spider-Man 3?
At that point,
they're going to be cameos.
Who are they not bringing back?
No, they're going to be cameos. And I think that's...
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I literally said to my son the other day, because he was saying to me, do you think they'll bring Green Goblin back? I said, they might bring back Goblin. They're not going to bring back Sandman. And here we go. We get the announcement that they're bringing back Sandman.
Yeah, so. As I said to you guys the other day, the entire movie is just going to be a slow pan over everybody there. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, and we have him, and we have him, and him. So, yeah.
So they announced
I bet it's going to be a lot less of a team up and more of like a montage.
It definitely will be.
Or there's going to be one moment
through.
where there's like he like drifts through the multiverse, and you're just going to see like the things going on.
Kind of like we just saw in the Lego Star Wars movie holiday special.
Oh, I hope it's just like that.
Hopefully better than that.
No, but I'm saying that same thing where they just go from one reality to the next, and probably could.
Well, let's finish off on Marvel movies, because the other things that they announced were
John Watts. Sorry, that's what
John
it was.
Watts,
John
okay.
Watts. Webb was the guy who did the other one. He's directing the Fantastic Four movie.
Okay. So they officially announced Ant-Man and the Wasp, the next one. I guess it's Ant-Man 3, but it's called Quantum Mania.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I love the first two, so I'm happy to have another one of those. Now, was Blade a movie or a TV series?
It's a movie.
Okay.
That was teased a while ago. It's got that Marshala Ali, if I'm not probably butchering his name. It's great in Green Book.
Technically, his second appearance in the Marvel Universe.
What was he before?
He was a villain in Luke Cage.
No one saw that, though.
Well, some of us saw it and wished we hadn't.
Yeah. I saw it in my sleep. Now, they had announced the Hawkeye series, right? They gave some details on it.
Yes.
Yes.
It's him and Kate somebody or other. He teams up with this girl played by Haley Steinfeld. Kate, whatever her name
Bishop.
is.
Yes.
Bishop.
Yeah.
That seems interesting.
She is also Hawkeye. So in the comics, when Hawkeye is dead, because everyone's only dead briefly in the comics, she picks up the mantle of Hawkeye and becomes Hawkeye. So I suspect we're going to find that this is somebody who became Hawkeye while he was Ronin. And
interesting.
that's what I think, anyways, because it would be silly for someone to like become a Hawkeye when there's another one floating around somewhere. But the fact that he abandoned that identity,
or maybe it'll just be him training somebody. Maybe she isn't.
But I think
Hawkeye,
that's what I bet it will be, is that he resumes being Hawkeye and finds that somebody else is already doing that gig. So
that could be interesting, and I think that is not underrepresented, but I think he was well represented in the movies. But it's funny, I was watching the one with the robot guy coming after everybody.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, that one. And you've got everyone. There's Thor and Hulk and everything. And here's just a dude with the freaking bow and arrow. That's all he is. I mean, you know.
And yet he does a lot in that movie. And he
does. He does a lot of the movies.
And it's one of my favorite scenes in that whole movie, and maybe one of my favorite scenes in the whole Marvel universe, when he looks at Wanda and he says to her, "I'm just a guy with a bow and arrow, but I'm going to go out there and do my thing," because it's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, like they don't
find that.
Rarely
character.
do they acknowledge things like that, like to the audience. But I love that scene.
You would think Tony could have made him a freaking a Hawkeye armor suit at least. He made Spider-Man one.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah,
I don't know that he would have taken it.
One of my favorite things in that was when she tried to control his mind. And he was like, "No, I've already done that before."
Yeah.
No, he had a lot with that movie.
He did, yeah. And not an insignificant part in the most recent one. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
There's a great Saturday Night Live skit that Jeremy Renner's actually in playing Hawkeye. Have you seen that?
No.
So they've got the Saturday Night Live cast playing the rest of the Avengers. And they're in the middle of the battle for New York. And he's like, "Hey, well, I'm out of arrows, so I'm out of here. And then they just start ripping on him. It's great. Well, how many arrows did you bring?
That's funny.
It's like, well, 11. That's all you have is 11? Well, 12 I crammed in really tight, but that's not good. That was it. And he was just like going to leave because he had no more arrows. It's actually on YouTube. I saw it a few months ago. It's worth checking out. It's pretty funny.
All right, so there was a bunch of other series that they announced that we hadn't heard about, right? So,
yeah,
Armor Wars.
Go for it.
That's
Don Cheadle?
No, that's Ironheart.
In that.
Ironheart, I think, is the War Machine.
Armor Wars is Don Cheadle as War Machine, and someone else gets their hands supposedly on some armor.
Yes.
So then a war breaks out, is what I'm guessing.
Oh, and I maybe I misread. I thought this show called Ironheart was also Don Cheadle.
No, Ironheart is some girl or woman,
a female successor to Iron Man.
So there's just too much. I can't even keep up. Okay.
Yeah.
No, those are both series.
Yeah.
That's all. Hopefully they're limited series. You can't. I mean, how much of that can you?
Well, the other thing too is this could go out to 2025 or 2026. At this point.
What I'm saying is that's a relatively thin concept to like. I mean, maybe it's not. Who knows?
Well, look,
they haven't done anything
something like
wrong.
Mandalorian's 8 episodes. You could stretch that out to 8 episodes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Most of these are probably going to be that limited series thing.
Yeah.
So okay, we talked about What If. We talked about a long time ago.
Yeah, but we did see a trailer for What If finally, and I'll be honest, I thought it looked awesome. Like I was really excited.
Yeah.
I know, Dave, you're not as into the animated stuff, but I thought it looked great.
It's very, very well done animation. So it's
interesting.
Yep.
And it sounds like they've got the original voice actors doing the voices, which helps too.
They do. Yep.
All right, so we talked about Loki,
else?
we talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier, we talked about Hawkeye. So there's a Miss Marvel series, which I think we'd heard about prior.
Is that animated or not? I can't tell.
No, I don't think so.
No,
it's not because they announced the actress.
Oh, that's right. They just the preview, the sizzle reel was animated.
Yeah.
And
She-Hulk is also a live action.
Yep.
She-Hulk has got the girl from Tatiana Maslany.
Yes.
Yep.
We talked about that too.
We've talked about that.
Guardians of the Galaxy
I think
holiday
she's going
special.
to be. I think she's going to be great. They said that's going to have a kind of humorous element to it, and we'll be seeing more of Bruce Banner. So that's good.
Now you were starting to mention the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. I had to look up to see if that was Guardians 3 or if that's an actual holiday special, and it sounds like it's
going to be a
2021 holiday special.
It is going to be written and directed by the director.
Yeah,
so
by James Gunn.
So they're basically shooting this in early part of production for Guardians 3. So
yeah.
At least that's a movie that has a great sense of humor to begin with, so you could see it being funny, where the Star Wars thing just didn't lend itself to that.
Oh yeah, and
that's
this,
why
seriously,
it's going to be a takeoff on
be,
that or something.
Yeah, they're going to have a good time with this.
Yeah.
I think that totally works.
All right, so Secret Invasion was another show they announced. I think that's also animated, right?
That is Ben Mendelsohn and Samuel Jackson are in that.
Oh, shoot, that's right.
Yep.
All right, so that'll be awesome. This is the Groot show. That's the one I was thinking of.
So
Groot was the other animated series.
Is that animated?
It's got to be, right?
Oh my God, there's just too much.
We would have prepared, but we haven't.
It's like,
I'm very prepared for the Star Wars conversation, not as much for the Marvel one.
There's a lot going on here.
There's a ton
I don't know
of
if I
stuff.
Am Groot is animated or not.
No matter what, it's animated, right? It's either
it is going to be animated.
It's live action with a CG
there's
Groot.
Still all these other things on the board, like Moon Knight and all this other stuff, and like I said, it's just, I think we need to start dealing with these things when they announce dates, because
these things are far out. Some of them could fall out, but the ones that they announced a year or so ago, they're on us. Here we go. Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out in March.
And let's face it, Disney did this in part because they're bleeding cash with their movies not being able to come out and with their theme parks being closed all over the world. So, they needed to say, we've got a ton of stuff coming. Stick with us. And Disney Plus right now is their big...
And their stock took off.
Yeah.
But Disney Plus has 86 million subscribers. Whether they're all paid or not, they are killing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
They didn't think they have anywhere near that amount.
Right.
So...
But you know, it's one thing to get them; it's another thing to keep them, and you've got to make sure people know. Because, like, we for the last year, we've talked about the fact that we paid in advance for 3 years for Disney Plus, so we didn't care the fact that we went 10 months without Mandalorian. But there wasn't a whole lot of other stuff to watch on there. There was some stuff, but not a ton.
There wasn't, but
now
we're
starting to have like 7 times just waiting for something else.
Yeah, but we're starting to get a sense now that there is going to be a revolving door of cool stuff to watch.
Starting in 21, there could be stuff on every single week, practically. If it goes from Wanda to Falcon to Loki,
I would be happy with
for 6 months.
Even if something dropped like every 3 months, I would be happy.
Once a quarter is enough.
Yeah, if we got an 6 to 8 episode a season every quarter, I'd be totally fine with that. If they can keep the quality level up.
And if they can get it to where it alternates Star Wars and Marvel, and then maybe they bring in some other stuff, that would be great.
I don't think they haven't screwed up yet, except for the aforementioned Last Jedi. But we'll give them that.
So, are we moving to Star Wars, or is there anything else you want to talk about on Marvel?
I'm excited for... Well, do we want to say what we're most excited about? What we're most thankful for?
In Marvel?
Yeah.
Sure.
You don't seem like you want to.
No, I'm fine. Todd, do you have a...
Sure. Yeah. We kicked this around. I had no idea what we were going to do, so I thought it was overall...
Do you want me to go first, and you guys can think? So, of the announcements, what are you most excited about? I'll say mine. You want me to say
go ahead.
mine?
Go for it.
I just picked the series because a lot of this stuff was already announced, but it doesn't matter. So of the stuff that are on this thing we're looking at, which is 20 new things announced, I am most excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think that's going to be great. Hawkeye, like I said, I really come to like that character. And She-Hulk. I think those are the 3 series that I think I have the most excitement about. Loki probably will be good, but I don't know. It didn't grab me. And WandaVision's just going to be weird.
Barry, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I think of the series, I think I'm probably... It's so weird that I'm so opposite Dave. I'm probably most excited for the Loki series, I think. I mean, I'm excited for all of them, but if I have to pick one, just because the teaser that they showed really ties it so tightly into the movies, and I'm sad to see that phase of the MCU end, and anything that they can give me that ties me back in there, I feel like I'm excited for.
Agreed.
So I think Loki...
That's fair enough.
And actually, out of the movies, I'm probably most excited for Fantastic Four because I'm hoping they do it right. Because I love the Fantastic Four, and it's been a disaster every time anybody's ever tried to do anything with it. So I'm hopeful.
Okay.
Todd?
Okay. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Moon Knight, and I'm really intrigued by Secret Invasion. I think that sounds really, really cool. Honorable mention to She-Hulk, which we'll probably see before that, but yeah. Basically, I want to see all of it, and I'm going to watch all of it. So,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine I'll not watch all of it. So.
Okay, just to be clear on this, I watched 2 seasons of Iron Fist. Okay? I will watch all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't make it that far into the Netflix Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's talk about
Star
the real
Wars
franchise.
Announcements.
Sorry. The one that's most near and dear to my heart. So let's talk about movies first, and then we'll go to the shows. Is that cool?
Are there movies?
There are movies. Yes, they announced movies. So what they told us was that the Taika Waititi movie is happening, and that he's writing the script now. So that movie was the next one that we thought we were getting. But then they surprised us with what the actual next movie is going to be, which is Rogue Squadron, directed by Patty Jenkins, which, when I first heard Rogue Squadron and Patty Jenkins, I'm like, I like Patty Jenkins. She's done great things with Wonder Woman. I love the first one. I'm hopeful for the second one. I wouldn't have connected those dots right away to her and a movie about fighter pilots. But then they put that teaser video out, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on board 100%.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, to do what they did, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. The way they did it was clever. But the fact that she talks about her father being a fighter pilot.
And always wanting to make a movie about the world's best fighter pilots.
Movie.
That's awesome. No, I know.
And this is what you need to do. This can't be, to make this work, to expand this universe. Okay? I mean, the best thing in the Star Wars universe right now is a Western. Okay? They need to look at other genres the way Marvel did and then work them in. And this is going to be a fighter pilot movie. This is going to be about a squadron of fighter pilots. Barry, did you ever read any of the books?
I didn't, no.
Yeah. I think this could be...
I've read the comics. I never read the novels.
Yeah. And
So where does this take place? Where is it?
They didn't say. Kathleen Kennedy made some off-the-cuff comment about a new era of Star Wars, but the logo and the X-Wing that we saw in the teaser were classic original trilogy X-Wings. So I not that maybe means anything, but I don't expect it's going to be Biggs, Wedge, and Luke. It's going to probably be some other fighter pilots in some other battle. But so anyway, for anybody that didn't see that, so Patty Jenkins is rollerblading. She blades up to the back of her car, and then they're close up on her, and you can tell she's doing something, and seems like she's changing out of whatever she's wearing. But and for the first 45 seconds of the trailer, I'm like, what is this? Like, this is ridiculous. And what she's saying is cool. But then they pan back, and she's put on an orange flight suit, and she's walking up to an X-Wing, and it was just
puts on an X-Wing.
But she put on the X-Wing
helmet.
helmet.
She puts on the X-Wing helmet, and it's just
and then pulls up the flight suit over what she's wearing, and it's I watched it 3 times. You can actually see the cut where they change, but where they probably slip the suit onto her legs and stuff. But still, it's so well done. She's obviously got a passion for this, and the idea that you're going to get somebody who hasn't spent like 20 years wanting to make a Star Wars film as much as they've spent 20 years wanting to make a fighter pilot film, which is a really tough thing to do well, okay, but has been tried over and over and over again. It's like, the first Academy Award winning film was a fighter pilot film. This is a genre in of itself, but to apply
my favorite thing that's come out of the Disney Star Wars era, honestly.
Oh yeah, but I'm
Rogue
saying
One.
to apply that to this is brilliant. I
honestly didn't even realize that was a movie. There's so many freaking announcements.
That's
so
a movie.
Did they give a date for that?
They said Christmas 23 is what they said. So we've got a little ways to go.
3 years.
But that's going to be the
years
next movie, and then the Taika Waititi movie is going to be after that.
That's a long enough pause. I think that's fine.
And when is the Rian Johnson movie?
Well, here's the most exciting thing that came out of this announcement, I think, is that there was absolutely no mention of Rian Johnson and his freaking trilogy, because it's got to be dead by now, right? So
what about those 2 jerk-offs who were making...
No, they're done. Benioff and Weiss, they walked away last year. So no, I'm now freaking super excited for what she potentially is going to do with this, and it's hers to run with. But that
if they could make a
teaser got me so excited,
like Rogue One. No,
yep.
She's it's good. It's great to see a woman's perspective. She's made good stuff.
Yeah,
and I have high hopes for Wonder Woman 84. All the teasers and everything look good. So
they're already talking. There's some of the reviews are saying, the early reviews are saying really, really good. Don't
read the reviews.
Not a deep film, but a lot of fun and what we need right now.
It takes place in the 80s. There was nothing deep in the 80s.
That's the thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just yeah.
I can't believe you read anything.
I didn't know. I don't get anything past the top I just read the top paragraph.
I won't read anything.
No, I have. It's so close. It's a week away at this point.
I'm very excited. That'll be the first thing I think I fire up the big screen for.
Yeah.
Well, movie-wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys can come over if you want.
So let's just a second. Let's just talk eras. So is this stuff jumping around, or are they going to exploit the Mando era. Because...
Well, series-wise, they are, for sure.
It seems to me like...
Well, wait, let's go through what they said, and then maybe that's a better time to have that discussion. Because they are all over the place.
They are. All right, so running down the series, and this is no particular order other than the one that I wrote them down in. So there's a show that they announced called The Acolyte, which sounds like it takes place, in the past, in the, the glory days of the Sith. So that one is clearly going back in time. The Obi-Wan show, they said, was 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. So basically 8-ish years before Star Wars.
Yeah. So Luke is 10 years old. And Hayden Christensen
we can see a dopey
as Vader.
We can see a dopey 10-year-old Luke. I hope not.
Oh, I think you'll at least see him from a distance. I hope.
You're going to see Obi-Wan run by, look at the farm. He seems okay. I got to go do something else for a couple weeks.
You're going to be looking through macro binoculars and, he's fine.
Exactly.
And then behind him,
is he staring at those damn two suns again?
With macro binoculars is Darth Vader.
Yeah. No, because Vader...
That's crazy. I didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't see that coming either. I was so excited by that.
Because it's good that in Star Wars, Darth Vader says, "I sense a presence, not something I've sensed since, just 8 years ago."
Well, when he says you should not have come back, does that mean that Obi-Wan was on the Death Star once before? You should not have come back, old man.
Death Star's they're gonna re-edit. They're gonna remake the special edition where he says,
you should not have come back
8 years ago,
again.
depending on how many seasons this show gets picked up for.
Yeah,
it'll be since last Friday.
I was joking around with my son that, they had a suit in the archives that fits Hayden Christensen, so that's why they cast him, because it honestly could be anybody. Unless they're going to show his face somehow. It could literally have been anybody, but okay, I like the continuity. Bring Hayden
That's
back.
all. I think is it going to be all, let's say there's 6 episodes, 8 episodes, he's going to be in all of them?
I bet Vader is in
I
one
think
or
it's
two.
Yeah.
But okay, you know what? Even if it's cutaways to Vader and what's going on with Vader in that time period, and Obi-Wan and Vader never, cross paths, I'd potentially be okay with that if they do that right. I don't need Vader and Obi-Wan to hook up and have a fight, but that could be cool too. But if it's just Vader being
if this
Vader,
could be,
what if it's scenes of like what we saw at the end of Rogue One? What if it's a couple scenes of that of Vader just kicking ass? That'd be great.
Okay, but here's the thing. What if they do the same thing they've done with Ahsoka? Ahsoka's in Mando, and we'll talk about her in a second. Now she has her own series. Vader's in Obi-Wan, and then there's a Vader series. He's got 18 years of hanging out on that stupid Death Star. He had to be doing something.
Yeah, he was hunting down Jedi. He was, doing whatever.
That could be a hell of a series.
We may see Tarkin in this, too. We might see that, and actually even in a better version of Tarkin than we saw in Rogue One.
If you think about it, the idea of Vader hunting down the remaining Jedi and Obi-Wan trying to get there ahead of him could be really interesting.
And we know they rewrote the script like 3 times, so they found a way to make it better, it sounds like.
I keep on confusing with this 10 years after Revenge of the Sith and 10 years after Return of the Jedi. They don't cross paths. I know. It's just the timeline is tricky.
No, but Obi-Wan's on Tatooine at the same time Boba Fett's on Tatooine. So there could be a crossover there.
Is he? I can't wait.
Well, Boba Fett's
Obi-Wan is. Yeah. No. I can't keep track of all this.
No,
Obi-Wan, possibly younger Boba Fett.
Yeah. Could be.
Oh.
Because he was looking for Jabba.
Stop.
He's not on Tatooine.
Break my brain.
He could have been.
No, he only went there because Jabba the Hutt was there.
Yeah, but Jabba was there long before.
He's still cleaning
like 11 more
the
shows,
brain
guys.
and skull out of that,
We got a lot more shows.
helmet.
Yes, we do. All right, so that's that. Then you mentioned the Ahsoka show, which we had a suspicion that was coming, and that was confirmed.
Back end pilot
Yeah.
in Mando.
Which is fine. And then they announced another new show that takes... So they said Ahsoka's show takes place in the time of The Mandalorian. And then they announced something called Rangers of the New Republic that also takes place during the time of The Mandalorian. And it sounds like those two shows and Mando are going to intertwine, and there'll be like an Avengers-style like crossover thing that can potentially happen with those three shows.
Yeah,
as long as it's
that's
not
a lot
forced.
going on right there.
So who will the Rangers of the New Republic be? Will they be remnants of the Mandalorians? Will they be...
Will it be Gina Carano?
That's what I'm wondering. Cara Dune, who's a marshal, not a ranger.
Cara Dune, and the other dude who was a marshal.
Yeah, the other guy was a marshal too.
Yep. But they're different marshals.
They're different marshals.
I don't remember that guy's name. But
the term ranger is interesting,
Timothy
right? Because you
Oliphant.
think ranger, you think of somebody who's traveling and somebody who's in law enforcement of some sort. So who knows what that's going to be? But
that's what's a ranger? Like I think of Rangers in the Army kind of thing.
And then
I
think of like characters like in Lord of the Rings, like Aragorn to me is like a ranger.
Right. Yeah, it's basically they have a large territory to cover. Okay.
It's like a militia kind of guy. Not a militia.
They've got a very specific focus in a large territory.
Like a Texas Ranger, but just not Texas.
Like Texas. So
like
and also they're supposed to be able. They're also supposed. Okay. This is the other thing with Rangers, and this is the key component. They are supposed to be able to act independently. Small group, act independently. So one riot, one ranger. All of this is, all the mythology around Rangers is either very small units or single individuals.
Right. What do we know about this time period? We know that while the Death Star 2 was destroyed and Palpatine was theoretically killed, the Empire hasn't gone away. There's remnants of it all over the place, and the New Republic has come in, and there are people within the New Republic whose job it is to try to clean up the remnants of the Empire. There's your show. Maybe that might be what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. That's
series in the classic era, which I like. So
that is it's a classic, but it's also completely unwritten. Okay, from there to The Force Awakens is completely clean territory right now. So
it is interesting that they threw that out now. You got Mando that's going strong. You just announced Ahsoka in the same era. To throw that out there at this point is interesting.
Well, it seems that they've got some kind of plan for how these all build and intertwine. And Favreau and Filoni are involved in all three of those shows. So
good.
That's awesome.
Good.
Yep. So here was the wild card, the Lando Calrissian show, which they didn't give us any details on. They showed a sizzle reel that they didn't show us. They showed the investors, but I've got to assume it's the Donald Glover young Lando.
Yeah, that's what I've read some articles. They assume it's Donald. So here they are going into another era.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Which is probably more around... It's before Rogue One. It's in the Solo era, so it could be before Solo or just after.
Is that
Solo.
At the same time as
they got
Obi-Wan?
to start doing a crawl at the beginning of these things and say when they take place, because people are not going to get this. This is what confuses normals about Star Wars to begin with. Is what takes place when.
Where is Solo?
Solo is like 10 years before A New Hope.
Yep.
Which would be right around the same time as Obi-Wan. Which
is
around 8 to 10 years before that. And honestly, then you've got the Cassian Andor show, which we've already known about, but they're apparently
that is like 2 or 3 years before
A New Hope.
Right.
The official timeline is before the Battle of Yavin.
Right.
Come on.
Because
you should know that.
It's pre-Rogue One, so it's got... and Rogue One butted up
against
Star Wars, so...
Are we sure it's pre-Rogue One?
It has to be. Cassian's dead.
I know. It's just being a jerk.
But they're filming that now.
I gotta say, I when I saw the little kind of teaser for that, I got a lot more excited for that show than I had been previously. It was like, okay.
Oh, I'm excited for that show, and if they have what's his face in it,
I was
K2SO.
like, okay,
yeah,
so again,
awesome.
we're gonna wrap up a series around a doomed character, and like, why couldn't they just take some, create something new like they did with Mando? But this seems really interesting. The going back to the, everything I've done for the Republic, and saying it in the way they did, it sounds like there's some bad road here.
Yeah, I'm looking
hopefully
forward to that one big time.
They won't put him in a job interview. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself going after
on a
Death Star
beach
planet.
looking into a bright light.
Yeah.
So then that was the end of the live action stuff. Then they had, they had something called the Droid Story, which I think
No one's sure what that is.
sounds like it could be R2 and 3PO live action, but obviously there'll be a lot of CG, or it could be fully animated. They didn't really say.
Please just let it be animated.
I would be
That's a
okay
lot
if it was.
going on if it's
you
not.
could do that live action in the volume, and it could look great.
What are they going to do? Just bitch at each other the whole time?
Yeah. The
Maybe.
Bad Batch thing, I'll watch that. I'm interested to see where they go with that, because that's going to be post order. So
That is, that's the continuation of Clone Wars into the timeline of Revenge of the Sith. So, and actually,
And
like
they didn't have supposedly the chip, probably.
right, they
Right?
didn't. Yeah.
right. And I love how they had the animation at the end of it that actually went from the Clone Wars logo into the Bad Batch logo. Because I was a little worried that maybe they would not stay consistent with the animation style, but they totally are. It's the high quality Clone Wars animation. So, yeah, that one's going to be good. And then one more. Star Wars Visions, which is Japanese anime style Star Wars, which Dave won't like, but might be interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah, to me that's the throwaway in the bunch. But all right, so what are we most excited about here? I think we all are going to have the same top three.
Just TV or total?
However you want to do it.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Rogue Squadron.
Really? I thought you'd put Rogue Squadron first.
No, I'm excited for that, but it's a long ways out. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I honestly didn't know what Rogue Squadron was, to tell you the truth, so I didn't include it.
okay.
did you not watch that video, Dave?
I did. I didn't know if it's just a lot of crap they got here.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was a series or a movie.
In the announcement, they
made
made it very clear. Kathleen Kennedy said the next movie we're going to get is this, and it comes out Christmas 23. So
I totally didn't see that. I thought I was waiting for her to say today's her last day.
I was waiting for her not to be there, quite honestly.
I was waiting for Kevin Feige to stand up and say, and now since I'm in
now
charge
that
of
this
Star
is
Wars,
over, I'm going to go back to filling the soda machines.
Well, they had announced that Feige was going to direct a Star Wars movie, but they didn't make any. That was
not direct,
Yeah.
produced probably.
Yeah. All right, so Dave, what's your top?
Obi-Wan, of course. I've been excited about that. Ahsoka, I mean, I love what we saw, and Andor. I mean, those. I mean, there's not much else. Lando, I could take or leave. I mean, I don't know.
If it's done okay, it'll be fun.
Barry, do you remember Lando in Clone Wars?
Yes.
Rebels. Sorry,
He was in Rebels. Yep.
Okay, I want to see that Lando. I want to see sketchy, kind of living on the edge.
I just hope it's not Lando from the end of Rise of Skywalker with his daughter going to look for her mother. That I just hope it's not that movie.
Oh no.
Or that show.
I want to see kind of going from one con to the next, kind of like, I think that could be
signing autographs. You mean maybe it's a reality show?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's Billy D. Williams signing autographs.
Well, my order, and I'm putting mine in the order that we're going to see them because I'm most excited for what we're going to get next. But Obi-Wan, Cassian, and Rogue Squadron.
Because they could put out Visions and he'll think it's the greatest thing ever.
No. I might like it. Greatest thing ever? No. But I'm excited for these live action series. And
what are we seeing? What did you say? We're seeing
we're going to see
he's putting what he's excited about in the order that they'll be released.
I understand that, but I'm not sure what that order is. Do you think it's Obi-Wan, then
they're filming Cassian now. So that was probably the next one we're going to get. Then Obi-Wan, because they said they start filming that in March.
Right across the street from Todd's house, I think.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe Mando Season 3 will be before all of this. They haven't given us timing yet on any of it, but...
Well, if they're... Aren't they filming Mando Season 3 now? Didn't we hear something?
I think they said that they had greenlit it, but I don't think they were filming it. I think that Favreau was writing it.
Oh. So we could see Andor in 21, potentially.
Yeah.
If they're filming it now.
I read an article that Lucasfilm's building 2 more volumes, so, they could be filming a lot of this stuff all at the same time. And probably pretty safely, because they're not out on...
They could not even be telling the actors what they're filming. It's just goes...
Well, and let's face it, all the casting announcements they've been making these announcements after they've already filmed their shit. So, I mean, they had Rosario Dawson out there saying, "Oh, I would love to play Ahsoka Tano," when she already had filmed her stuff. So they
yeah.
So the timeline is all over the place, though. That is something that they...
Yep. They're going to have to figure out a way to explain it.
Yeah. So, but, yeah. All right,
well,
Jim,
and so there were 2 other
Lucasfilm
announcements we should touch on.
All right. No, thanks for listening, everyone. We're out of time.
Indiana Jones 5, which we've been hearing about for 2 years now, and it sounds like they're still going to try to make it. And the Willow TV series. Very excited. I'm the one.
I will concede that one to you. I will absolutely concede that one to you. Indy 5, I really want to know what direction they take with that, because
it takes place in the 90s.
It might have to, so that Indy's going to be riding a rascal scooter. I mean, come on.
I don't know what they're going to do with
I don't know either.
How old is he right now?
76.
He's in his late 70s. No, I think he's older than that. I'll look it up.
So
I said 76 to 78.
So
can't Chris Pratt please just sign on or do something? And
he's 78 years old, Dave. He's
78 years old. So what age could he pass for?
77.
He could pass for late 60s if they.
That's what I'm
10
wondering.
Years younger.
So could this be set in the 1960s?
Ugh.
Late 1960s? It's I'm not sure that's what I want to see.
I don't want to see him in a VW microbus.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to see him in the swinging 70s.
Yeah.
His 70s.
And
I wish I could unsee him in the 50s.
So, Indiana Jones was born in 1900. So he is going to be... He is going to be, whatever year they said at the age
they
of whatever
will play
year
fast and loose with that if they have to. Because in none of the movies did they say what year he was born. So, they could.
Well,
they could play with that.
Don't we see his passport at some point?
Yeah, but even if they did, to me that's something that they'll work around. But yeah, there's no getting around the fact that if they're going to film it next year, next summer he's going to be 79 years old. And when this movie comes out, he's going to be...
hey, wait another 5 years, give him the eye patch, let him be, let him be old Indy from Indiana Jones Chronicles. I don't know what they're going to do with this. I'm very, very dubious about this. So,
this is a total aside, Dave, but I heard an interview last week with Steve Sansweet. Do you know he just turned 75?
Did he really?
I would have thought he was younger than that.
Yeah. The older we get, the younger old people seem.
That's right.
This is true.
This is true. Okay.
I was looking at... She's a very talented woman, but I was looking at Patty Jenkins singing, she's kind of cute. She's 50. What's wrong with us?
Yeah.
Hey, Susanna Hoffs from the Bengals is 60, and she looks fantastic.
Okay, before we start down this road.
I totally appreciate older women.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's go. What's in the box? Let us know what you think. Whatever. There's so much good stuff. If you haven't paid your $6.99, it's going up to $7.99. It's worth every penny, even to get all the movies, all the Marvel movies, and all the Star Wars movies. Plus, there's other stuff on there.
And Jim Bush, we did it in an hour. So there.
Yeah. So. Okay, we're doing what's in the box. Todd, do you want to go? And then...
Sure. Okay. So...
We were going to all do the same thing, but
because it's very
do
rare.
Not have mine yet.
It's very rare when we all buy the same thing and get it at the same time. And we were all supposed to get it at the same time, but Todd's didn't show up yet.
Mine is in
ironically,
shipping limbo.
Todd's closest to the warehouse. It's coming.
I'm close to the warehouse, and it's been
true.
It's been every day. I look at the tracking number, and it's just sitting there.
it's not. This is no fault of Fanboy
No,
Collectibles.
it is not.
Let's be
Though
clear
what's
about it.
ironic, Todd,
I will
is
say-
that mine had to go through your town to get here.
Yeah, it's like I will say, the next time he ships something, I'm not going to have him write ballots important on the side of the box. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Tell them the right vaccine on the side. You'll get it much faster.
That didn't help. So, anyways, so
Mine
my
literally
what's
goes
in
through
the box
Springfield to get here.
was something that our friend Sean suggested, and this is a Hallmark ornament that I de-ornamented. The little hanger thing spun out very easily. You can't even see where it was. Just nice. It's actually a car. I mean, it is a little car model. It's got moving wheels and stuff. This is a 1955 Lincoln Futura concept car, which is extremely recognizable as the base vehicle that the 66 Batmobile was based on. As I look at this, I realize George Barris got a lot of credit for designing that car. When really, he put a hood on, he put a nose, he changed the nose, and he gave it a really good paint job. But all the lines, all the classic lines of this car transcended into that into the Batmobile, and it's just really, really cool. And it's a neat $20 version of this. And like I said, it is a car. Sean's held it up to one of the Mattel ones, and he thinks it may be built on the same model. So,
oh, really? That's interesting.
He showed me some comparable pictures. So, thanks for the heads up on this, Sean. Very cool, and that will go into the Batmobile collection as a prototype.
Cool.
So
sweet.
So, Barry and I have the same thing, and Todd will get it hopefully tomorrow. Is the Hot Toys Wasp figure, long-awaited Hot Toys Wasp figure.
Yes. Oh, good.
Which,
Dave's got his with the different head on it than I have mine. So.
Aha.
Yeah. So it is obviously played by Evangeline Lilly in the movie, and the head sculpt that they did is one of the best head sculpts I think that Hot Toys has ever done. It just so dead on captures the actress. It's kind of amazing. I mean, they always do good work with head sculpts, but considering how badly they botched Paul Rudd's head sculpt for the Ant-Man 2 figure, they made up for it on this one, I think.
Yeah,
the ears are a little.
They do stick out a little bit. They do.
Yeah,
but that's her ears though. She does have ears like that.
Yeah, we've seen them, and
yes, in person.
So.
I've dreamt about them.
The ponytail rotates 360 degrees.
Oh, that's actually because I don't know if you put that cowl on the back of her neck, but it's so that it can go over it. Yeah.
Well, I like it because I put it off to the side so it gives a little sense of motion, actually.
Right. So she comes obviously with the backpack wings, either sort of folded in. They have the tiny little wings protruding, or they've got the full on in-flight wings, and those are really cool. Dave and I both put them on. So I've got the helmeted head sculpt on mine, and the lights in the head sculpt, the lights in the helmet light up.
You put the battery? I didn't put the battery.
I put them in just because I wanted to see, and it really, I mean, there's a full head sculpt under the helmet, and you can really see her eyes through it with the lights on. It's pretty amazing. They did a good job lighting that up. And it's very easy to just take this little panel off the top, and it just pops right back on, which is good, because sometimes their batteries are really hard to get at. My big concern with this figure is, I want to display her flying, and I want to display her in a dynamic pose, and I'm a little worried about if you bend the arms and the legs too much that the suit may not hold up.
Well, it's funny. They do say how many degrees the suit can bend.
Yeah.
But the suit's a little simple, but definitely it looks great. Like you said, the wings are awesome. I don't love this stand, and I want to display him. I want to display her with. I took some pictures. I'll put them in the Dropbox. Not in the Dropbox. I'm going to text you guys.
Yeah, it's an impressive wingspan, though. I mean, it really. And
the
wings are.
Yeah, the wings are awesome.
Positionable.
Guys, I think you need to suspend this. I think that you got to figure out how to get some fishing line in your case, and I think this needs to be.
See, I don't mind the stand too much. I mean, the stand kind of grabs her around the waist, and
check out the picture I just sent. I want to display her with Falcon on the top of my display case. And the thing about the Falcon stand, this thing on the Falcon stand is much longer.
It is, yeah.
So that's where I want to put her. But if you can see in that picture, I actually grabbed her around the thighs.
Oh yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I'm a little afraid that may not hold.
I grabbed mine around the thighs too.
It gave her way more height.
Listen, anybody that's listened to this show for a while knows I've got a major thing for Evangeline Lilly. So it's an awesome figure. It really is an awesome figure.
It is. It does. I mean, it displays great. You know what I'm gonna do is I was playing around with these little doll stands. I think I'm gonna manufacture something where this grabs her around the waist, and it'll be much tighter.
Yeah.
And I may put her on like a lucite stick to put her like a foot above Falcon.
Yeah, how close is this? How close is the ceiling to the top of that case?
3 feet from the top of the case. So
do fishing line.
Put her.
Try. Yeah. Have her a foot above the others on fishing line. That'll look great.
Yeah, we're playing around with something like this on this thing.
Because even if you hung that thing and do it upside down, if you hung that bracket, just the bracket, and do it upside down, you could clip her in and out of it.
I don't know if I want to put anything in my ceiling, but I'll play around with it.
When you pose her with the Ant-Man figure too, I mean, I've got her in my display case right next to the Ant-Man from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and they display really well together. They also come with this tiny little Wasp figure, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super happy with it. They
did a good job.
Did a great job, and I'm just glad that they didn't botch the head sculpt because I'm going to probably keep her with the helmet on anyway, but they just did such a good job.
I'm leaving her with it off.
If they had done a good Paul Rudd, I might have had them both with the helmets off, but his is just so bad.
Yeah, he's going to have the helmet on. She's going to have the helmet off. You can always set the helmet on the ground in the case. You can see it. It looks good.
That's true. Yeah, the weird thing about putting the helmet in the case next to it is it's got the face in it.
Oh, it does.
The head sculpt is in the case, in the helmet.
Oh, okay.
If you grab her around the thighs, she's taller. Sits higher.
Yeah, she sits higher in the stand. Yep, it's a great figure. So, Todd, I'm sorry you don't have yours yet, but you'll have something to look forward to when you get it.
Yeah, the problem is the helmet has someone's face in it.
Although with the light off, it's not as noticeable that the face is in there.
Yeah. So we will have a gallery of Wasp photos this week. So the website's updated, so all our past stuff is up to date. But this week's we'll do you guys can send me pictures, and I'll take a few of my own, and we can show some different display techniques.
Yeah, we'll each have some shots of how we decide to pose them. So pose her. So it'll be good.
You've
Curious what we talk
probably
amongst
been waiting on
ourselves.
the edge of your seat for us to talk Mandalorian, but we're going to put that off till next week because when we talk about the final episode.
Yes, we will.
Yep.
Okay, any last thoughts?
I've got one. So I know I do occasionally listen to some other podcasts. I don't have as much time to do that as I used to because I don't commute anymore. But I do listen, and I have listened for years to a Star Wars podcast called Rebel Force Radio. There, I think they bill themselves anyway as the biggest Star Wars podcast out there. They get good guests, so I'm assuming that they are one of them. But they had Anthony Daniels on this past week, and towards the end of the show, I thought perfectly positioned why people should be wearing masks. So I just thought we would play that clip on the way out of our show this week because people should really be wearing masks. And yes. I still can't believe
they should be,
given where we are and what's going on, that there are people that still don't seem to understand that. So maybe
Anthony
Anthony
infringes
Daniels
on their human rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being dead infringes on your freedom more.
Exactly. And causing other people to be dead.
And with all this cool stuff we just talked about coming, you need to be alive to see all this great stuff.
Exactly.
So listen to Anthony. And
you should. Everyone should. Okay, next week, Mando, we'll wrap that up. We'll talk something else. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
I've spent much of 43 years wearing a mask for a living. Now I wear a mask for my safety and the safety of fans around me. So really believe that wearing a mask will save you and save others from getting a disease that can be really, really hurtful to you and can have consequences for others that you don't want to know about. So please wear a mask. So there we are. That's all it takes. Whatever your color, wear a mask. No, it's not going to be forever. It's not reducing your rights as a human being. It's just helping us to stay human and to stay alive. End of message.